And I wanted to transition things and actually start things for my segment of teaching with a poem as well. So this is one that has been passed around in a lot of the circles that I'm in. It's by someone named Kitty O'Meara, and I'll read it to you. And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced. Some met their shadows, and the people began to think differently. And the people healed, and in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully as they had been healed. It's by someone named Kitty O'Meara, and we'll post it on the page with the recording so you don't have to worry about finding it. But this is a really unprecedented time that we find ourselves in. And, you know, I've heard several people liken it to being in New York for September 11th, just the intensity and the surprise of the event and this sense that life as we know it has been changed, feeling so ungrounded and untethered, and like what is the new normal going to be? And so I really wanted to focus my time with you all today on giving you some practical tools to stop the anxiety spiral and to take wise action during this time. And if some of you have just joined and you're new, it'd be great if you could be on video, because we wanted this to feel like community and connection. So feel free to turn your video on, even if you're in your pajamas late in the day. So, you know, Mark mentioned being of service. And I wanted to also give you a little bit of the deeper story around why I'm offering these gatherings at this time. So I had been meditating and kind of praying over the last couple of weeks, thinking like, how can I be of service? How can I be of service? And my husband had even said, why don't you give a talk on how to lower anxiety and stress and fear? And I was sitting with that idea, and then women in our community were reaching out and saying, can you do something to help people lower the anxiety and the fear and the uncertainty? And I was sitting with that. And then I was meditating on, how can I be of service? How can I be of service? And I wasn't really getting any concrete answers, and I was sort of annoyed. Like, I want to be helpful. I don't have any good solutions. And then a couple of days later, it just came through, you know, just this is such a big pandemic. And I feel personally that our collective consciousness is really being influenced by what's going on. And so in addition to managing your individual fear and anxiety and uncertainty, you're also now managing the collective fear and anxiety and uncertainty. So these two things are happening simultaneously. We have our individual experience, and then we have the collective experience, which we're very much a part of, we're integral to. And we could feel like at the whims of that, or we could kind of choose to step up and say, I'm a light worker. I'm here to stay grounded in love and wisdom and truth during this time. And I want to bring that sense of groundedness and calm and love and compassion to those around me. I want to be a beacon of light during this time. And so as I was sitting with this idea of how can I be of service and meditating on that question, which I'm going to help you all do in just a little bit, it came through that, well, if the impact on the collective consciousness is so big with this pandemic, bringing a lot of people, kind of drawing you into this fear spiral, this anxiety spiral, I thought our response needs to be really big as well, to bring people back to love and wisdom and truth and compassion. And so my intention with these gatherings, the idea that came through was, oh my gosh, why not bring together all these teachers so that we can uplift the collective consciousness and bring in more love, more light, more wisdom, more truth. And we're all here to do that. Everyone who's on this call with me right now, you're part of that. So I'm so excited that you're here. And what I've been sitting with a lot is the idea of wise action. So thinking about how can we take the actions that we need to take or that we feel are necessary to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe, whether that's stocking up on food or buying, hand sanitizer or what have you, calling out, reaching out to a friend. How can we take those actions from a place of wisdom rather than fear? Because really, even the same action, ordering groceries online, you could be doing it from a place of panic and anxiety, or you could be doing it from a place of grounded, calm, wise action. So I invite you to just start to notice and simply ask that question, like, what is wise action for me right now in this moment today? What does wise action look like? And just start to pay attention to yourself, your own thoughts and feelings, and are you in wise action? And there was a great piece that Sharon Salzberg wrote actually about wise action that I wanted to share with you all. She said it starts with pure awareness. So just noticing what is really going on at this moment and what am I adding to it? Is there fear or anger or longing for the situation to be other than it is? Am I planning what I'm going to do next or coming up with the right thing? What is really present? And am I really present? Can I acknowledge the thoughts that are running through my mind without judgment? And then once there's clarity, she says, then it's time for wise action. So what is the wisest course of action in this situation? Is it time to speak up or keep silent? When you get more clear, it's easier to realize what wise action is. And sometimes wise action can help you realize that other people are suffering as much or more than you. And they may not be reacting in a skillful manner, but it's easy when you connect with the fact that they're suffering too. So when you act from clarity, it's more likely that what you do or say will be helpful instead of adding to the problem. And then the last step she mentions is having peace with the result. So whether or not you're recognized or praised for your wise action, will you be? Maybe, maybe not. But none of that is important. What is important is letting go of what has been, good, bad, or indifferent. You've done what you can, and now it's time to meet the next moment with pure awareness. So one of the things, I was leading a women's group earlier this week, and some of the women talked about how when they wanted to start taking action to shelter their families and buy supplies, a few weeks ago, they were made fun of and almost shamed by some of their friends because they were thinking ahead. And this sense of, I love what she says about peace with the result. So you take your wise action and you let go of what other people might say or think about it. You're doing what feels right and true to you in that moment. Okay, so what I wanted to do now is give you all a couple of tools to get out of the anxiety spiral and become a little more aware of how you might be adding to your own suffering a little bit and what you can do to shift out of that. So what I like to do is we're going to do a short guided meditation, and then we'll talk a little bit about shifting out of anxiety. And actually, before we do the guided meditation, I want to do step one of some of these prompts I wanted to have you all go through. So we're going to do a little journaling exercise and self-inquiry. So if you don't, go ahead and get a piece of paper and a pen and have that ready. If you have a journal you write in, great. It can be a loose piece of paper. So the first thing you're going to do is actually write down all of your fears and anxieties. We're going to go there, people. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute. And for 1 minute, I want you to write down all of your greatest fears, everything you're struggling with right now, and just, you're going to vomit it out onto the paper. There's research that actually shows if you write, there was one study where they had people write down all the things they were upset about every night, I think for 8 weeks, and they were less depressed 6 months later. So there's something about writing with pen and paper that can really help you get some things out of your system. So take a moment and get a pen and a piece of paper, and I'm going to just set a timer for us, and I'm going to do it along with you. So for just 1 minute, I want you to write down everything you're upset about. All right. This is your chance to really vent, to get your fear, your anxiety, your stress, your uncertainty out onto the paper. So go ahead and do that now. And if you're feeling a little stuck, you can start with a prompt such as, I'm scared that, or I feel anxious that. And if you want to take that a level deeper, you can answer the question. You can say, this reminds me of, and I'm just putting those prompts in the chat for you all. Or even, I'm angry that. Okay, we're going to do one more minute because I personally feel like I have a lot more to get out on paper. So one more minute, just writing down, I'm scared that, or I'm angry that, I'm anxious about. And if you want to share in the chat, please go ahead and do that as well. Okay, that was the timer going off for the second time. And I love what Elizabeth said, we need 10 minutes to write all of this down. I actually agree. And I would recommend, if you all have 10 minutes, well, we all have 10 minutes, we can find the time for 10 minutes, taking 10 or 20 minutes to really write down all of your fears and sadness and concerns, everything that you're feeling right now, because it's very cathartic to get it out on paper. Would just love to hear from, is there one or two people who want to share anything that you noticed doing that or what came up for you? Yes. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth said, I'm angry that our president waited so long to respond adequately to this pandemic, and now so many people are at increased risk. And someone wrote, I'm disappointed my travel and volunteer events have been canceled. I look forward to events all year and now I feel lost. Oh, my heart goes out to you. Yeah, if others want to share in the chat, you can do that. Yes. So the next thing I'd like you to ask yourself, and this actually comes from an exercise, it's a variation I created from something I got from Gay and Katie Hendricks, who will be joining us in 15 minutes. So I want you to ask yourself, how am I contributing to this? How am I contributing to my own suffering? So the wisdom teacher Tara Brach talks about the second arrow, meaning the first arrow is like the difficult event or circumstance, and the second arrow is the way that we repeat it in our mind, or we're really hard on ourselves after the event. So some examples of how you might be making this more difficult for yourself could be like, oh, I'm watching the news obsessively. I'm talking a lot about, I'm having negative conversations without feeling like they're productive. I'm doing unnecessary, unhelpful worrying. So take a moment and just write down, and it helps to go, because it puts you in a state of wonder and curiosity rather than self-judgment. So take a moment and just go, how am I contributing to my own suffering? And just be really honest with yourself. How am I contributing to my own suffering? And I'll write that question too. How am I contributing to my own suffering? And this is a moment of taking responsibility. It's not always comfortable. Yeah, Claudia shared a great one. I'm worrying about the what if while still being healthy. So anticipatory anxiety. Anybody else been feeling that? I can imagine. So here's just a quick little solution, like a little hack move you can do. When you have like one of those worry thoughts or anxiety thoughts, and what's really helpful is to have awareness and notice when you're in a worry spiral or an anxiety spiral. That's the first step. You have to catch yourself when you're in it. So you want to start with awareness, and then you want to shift to something more helpful, more productive. You can do box breathing, which if we have time at the end, we'll do, but it's where you inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. And it's been proven to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. They actually teach it they train everyone in the military in this breathing technique when they're in combat zones. So it's a really powerful way to calm yourself down. So you can do parasympathetic breathing. Anytime your exhale is longer than your inhale, it actually activates the parasympathetic nervous system. So even if you don't do the full box breath, just inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 6, 3 rounds of that, and you will already be in a more calm place. The other thing you can do is notice the thought itself. And then change it to something more grounded, more helpful. So for example, let's say the thought is, I'm worried about my aging parents, or I'm going to get the coronavirus and I'm terrified. As someone said, that anticipatory anxiety. When you notice that, reach for a better feeling thought. And this comes from the work of Abraham Hicks. So for example, if you're thinking, oh, I'm worried about my aging parents, or I'm scared I'm going to get the coronavirus and I'm terrified. Instead, a better feeling thought would be, I'm basically okay right now. I'm healthy right now. In this moment, I'm healthy. I'm taking proper precautions. I have what I need in this moment. Oh, and I even have that dark chocolate I really like. And maybe I'll make myself a cup of tea. And oh, maybe I'll go sit in my favorite little nook in the house where the sunlight shines through the window. And I'll cuddle my little animal. We just got a kitten. So all of a sudden, you see how I'm in an upward spiral though, just starting with like, I'm basically okay. I'm healthy. I have what I need right now. Ooh, maybe some dark chocolate would make things even better. Maybe I'll make a cup of tea. Maybe I'll go to this. So slowly, you're training your thoughts and up-leveling them back to more of an upward spiral. So you can do the box breathing to calm yourself down, or you can notice your thought and shift it to something that feels better. Now, the next step I'd like you all to do in this journal you're writing in is to just ask yourself, and this plays off of what I just shared, what can I do to really nourish myself at this time? And write down at least 3 things. So what can I do to really nourish myself at this time? And that might be, I need to get away from all the people who are staying in my house. As Alejandra shared, alone time, setting good boundaries. So what can I do to really nourish myself at this time? At least 3 things. Go ahead and write that down. And if you know what would be great is if you wanted to share this in the chat, because we can all read what everyone else is going to do to nourish themselves, and you will inspire us. I've been taking baths, and I also am like kind of obsessed with reading by candlelight, like my Kindle light and a candle. And Corey said, get out into the sun. Thank you, Corey. Oh, and also listening to relaxing music. And we'll share some of these. If you have links to like really good music or things that are helping you, put it in the chat and we'll send this out to everyone. Yeah, so going for a walk, someone said on the trail, chocolate, meditate, dance, sun, walk, yoga. I love it. Oh, and thank you, Paula said Insight Timer. Yes, I'm a huge fan of the app Insight Timer. A lot of my meditations and a couple of my courses are on there. It's a free app to download, so try it. Actually put some makeup on. I love it, Elizabeth. That's true, because it's fun. I mean, there can be this, like, sometimes it's nice to stay in your PJs and not wash your hair. And then after like 5 days of that, you might feel kind of gross, and it feels good to like get dolled up for yourself. Cooking a nice meal, yes. Oh, I love Jacques Paul bought a massager. That's a cool idea. Chatting with someone I know. Take time to laugh. Very good one. Yeah, watching comedy. Hydrate, paint. Oh, these are so great. All right, so you all have lots of ideas, right? But the point is to have that list handy, and when you start to notice yourself going into an anxiety or a fear spiral, go back to your handy little list. And these things are always, they're simple and obvious, but that doesn't always mean it's easy to remember to do that in the moment when you need it. Okay, so the next thing I'd like you to do is just allow your eyes to gently close and tune in to the rise and fall of your chest or belly as you inhale and exhale. And I'm going to ask you a question as part of this journaling exercise, but we'll do like a little minute or two of meditation introduction before I do. So sitting comfortably with your legs uncrossed, your feet on the floor, resting your hands gently in your lap, and just tuning into how you feel right now in this moment. And just recognizing that you are basically okay right here, right now. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are receiving oxygen. You are basically okay. And with each inhale, I'd like for you to visualize or imagine that you're inhaling a calm, peaceful energy. And with each exhale, visualize or imagine that you're releasing any tension or stress or anxiety that you've been holding on to. You might even want to move your jaw around, your shoulders or neck, opening up, just releasing any tension or stress. So with each inhale, inhaling this calm, peaceful energy, and with each exhale, releasing any tension, letting go of worry. And just for this little while that we do this today, have nothing to worry about. So, enjoy the way that feels, to not have anything to worry about. Recognizing that right now, right here, in this moment, you are basically okay. Allowing yourself to not have anything to worry about. So, enjoy the way that feels. This is a luxury that very few people allow themselves. To take a few moments out of your busy day to just relax. As you inhale this calm, peaceful energy. And with each exhale, releasing any tension or worry. Let it flow right out. We don't need that. We don't need that. As you inhale this calm, peaceful energy, you might even see a color or colors associated with it. And as you exhale and release tension and anxiety, let it flow right out. You might also see some color or colors associated with it. And taking a moment to appreciate yourself for all the wonderful things you're doing for yourself and your loved ones at this time. Appreciate yourself for showing up on this call here today to connect with other people, to feel a sense of community, receive some wisdom teachings, some tools, some love. And take a moment and feel the energy of this group, how all of these other people all around the world are here with you right now. Whether you're listening to the recording or you're here with us live, you're part of this group. So feeling into that energy, this collective energy, and all of the hopes and desires and dreams and love and compassion and empathy that's available to you from this group. And as you connect with this group, I'd like for you to just pose the question to yourself, how can I be of service? It can even help to make that noise. How can I be of service at this time? And just keep noticing the rise and fall of your chest or belly as you inhale and exhale. Simply sitting with the question with wonder and curiosity. How can I be of service? And not trying to force it. If you don't get an answer immediately, that's fine. And then taking a moment to just send some love to some people in the world right now. So perhaps there's a dear loved one that you can't physically be with right now. You can visualize or imagine their face just a few feet in front of you. Or imagine that you're giving them a big hug. Or perhaps there's an area of the world that you've been thinking about. You can send all the people in that region some of your love. Just taking a moment, whether it feels best to send this to individuals or large groups, sending some love and some well wishes to people all around the world. If you want the advanced version of this, you can even try sending some love and well wishes to some of the people whose behavior has been upsetting you. If you're upset with your government, or you think you've noticed you've been judgmental of other people not taking what you view as proper precautions, see if you can turn that judgment into well wishes. Saying, may you too be safe. May you too be free from suffering. May you too live with comfort and ease. And may you too be held in loving kindness. And then as you're ready, coming back to your body in the room, feeling the support of the chair or the floor beneath you. Noticing the rise and fall of your chest or belly. And when you're ready, allowing your eyes to gently open. We have some new guests who've joined us while I was leading that meditation. So that's fun to notice. So just coming out of that, if you had any ideas around the how I can be of service, just take a moment to write that down. And if there's anything you want to share in the chat about what that experience was like, sending love out to others and getting curious about how you can be of service at this time, go ahead and share that in the chat. And I'm just going to end this little talk with a poem, and then I'll be transitioning over to Gay and Katie Hendricks. All right, so this one was shared actually by Marnie, who got it with, I think, Susan O'Connell and Mark Lesser from the Zen and Work class. And it's called Pandemic. What if you thought of it as the Jews considered the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling, give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down, and when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. And that's attributed to a woman named Lynn Unger. And don't worry, we'll share these poems out. I know people have been asking for them. So thank you everyone for joining me in that talk. And we'll be giving you more tools to manage your anxiety and take wise action in the coming weeks.